Hello, insiders! Traveling for work this week, so shooting a news flash from a hotel. There was a YouTube outage, basically everything on YouTube. We got on it as fast as we could, so apologize for the inconvenience. There was an identified issue with the... So if you passed either 100,000 subs or 1 million subs since September 23rd, due to a bug, you were not being considered by the team that issues those awards. We've now fixed that issue, so we need to catch up, but hopefully we can make up that lost ground as fast as we can. Next, we are taking a more active approach to enforcement of YPP guidelines for new YouTube Partner Program applicants and existing members of the YouTube Partner Program. So there's no new guidelines, but what we are doing is we're sort of doing more confirmations that channels in the YPP program are following the guidelines. Specifically, there's the community guidelines, which I'll link to below, and then there's also AdSense guidelines, also linked below. Examples of the AdSense guidelines include AdSense guidelines collecting public content and re-uploading it. That is not monetizable. If the video uses a computer-generated voice over images, that is not monetizable. It's not considered in keeping with the AdSense guidelines. If a channel re-uploads other people's content from across the web or on YouTube, that is not monetizable. And generally, like content farms that just are producing content to try and kind of game the system will not be monetizable. And of course, the whole point of this is so that we have reserved as much of the ad revenue as possible to the channels that are unique and original, run by creators like you, who are working really hard to produce really original stuff, not just kind of taking stuff from other places and then re-uploading it to YouTube. That's not good for viewers, it's not good for the platform, it's not good for advertisers, it's not good for creators that are really trying hard. In the YouTube Studio Beta, by popular request, people are saying, hey, I can't change my currency settings. You can now change that natively in the YouTube Studio Beta. That Studio Beta keeps, hopefully, you'll notice, keeps getting better every few weeks. So if you haven't tried it out in the last few months, do give it a try. We actually also just announced in Classic Studio that Classic Studio will be going away next year. So the sooner you can get onto the Studio Beta and really understand how it works, because there is a different navigation system and stuff isn't exactly in the same place. It's a redesigned experience and it's improved, but you will need to take a little bit of time to get used to it. The better. Also, the more feedback you can give us, either in the comments here or in the send feedback link in Studio Beta, the sooner we can kind of take action on it, because, as I mentioned, we are making improvements to that product pretty much every month, and we're not really doing anything to improve Classic. Classic's basically going away next year. Let's see, what else? Premieres. Premieres is now being expanded yet again, now to 50% of all channels. So I think it's a random distribution. It's not necessarily by size. So hopefully your channel got it, and if not, it will soon. Susan, our CEO, announced a new initiative in her creator letter around learning, and that includes more investments for things like funding for multi-session content, a new learning channel, EDU tuber programs, and resources. A lot of people come to YouTube just to learn things, and we really want to embrace and extend that amazing trend. The Explore tab, which we talked about previously, link below for that video, is now, it was originally just an experiment on iOS, and now that experiment is expanding to 1 to 2% of Android and 1 to 2% of desktop. So that shows that the experiment's going well, but we need to get more data, so we'll keep you posted on that one. Some percentage of stories, YouTube stories, will be enabled for comments. We want to experiment to see how adding comment engagement to the YouTube stories format helps or hinders the viewer experience. So if you see that, just know that that's what's behind the scenes. There, similarly with YouTube Stories, you will no longer be able to link to videos. We got some feedback from viewers and creators that the experience wasn't as good as it could be, so the team wants to take some more time and figure it out before launching it more broadly. There is also another experiment, lots of experimentation, the official people card. So if you search on YouTube search for a very kind of well-known person that a lot of people search for, you may start to see these official people cards, which will have a subscribe button, a verified badge, and a gray header. So it'll be like a different visual treatment. So if you're a viewer and you're looking for some famous person and you want to find their channel, it'll be easier to find it versus maybe channels that are about that person, but they're not by that person. Okay, that's it for this week. A lot of experiments, basically, a lot of expansion of new features, some bugs. Again, apologies for that. Hope this was helpful, and see you next time. In the meantime, keep it real. Okay, you're still here. You're actually interested in movie quotes. So, last week's, I think there were like 17 people that guessed correctly. So that's probably one of the easier ones, but this week's will not be. Last week, the answer was Avengers Infinity War. And the first person was the Dutch guy. Wow, the Dutch guy must be one of our most kind of active viewers for the channel. So congrats to the Dutch guy, who seemed to be making an appearance in many news flashes. But good work. And let's see if you can get this one. Now, this one is not a movie, although I would not be surprised if it becomes a movie, just because it's very compelling and creative content. But this is from a creative performance. It's not a movie, but anyway, here it is. Well, the word got around, and they said, "This kid is insane, man. Took up a collection just to send him to the mainland. Get your education. Don't forget from whence you came from. And the world is gonna know your name. What's your name, man?" Okay.